Gears of War 4 is an allegory to erectile dysfunction.
Damn it! Not again! I lost her again!
Yeah, only like 20 minutes of this game are actually worth playing. As a matter of fact, I only played 20 minutes of the game for this video. Gears 4 is the worst thing a game can be, and that is boring. As an example, last time I played through this whole game, which was about 2 years ago, I got to Act 3, where you're at an elevator, and it was a defense segment. I got so bored of it. I quit the game, thought, okay, I can still get through this, so I checked my saves so I could get back in, and realized, hey, wait a second, there's a save from like 2 years ago, and it's past the elevator point. So I just said, you know what, I'm not doing this. I loaded that save from 4 years ago, and I played the rest of the game through that. First and only time I've ever beaten this game, and I've had it for like 6 years. That being said, it's impressive how good the actual first mission of this game is, in comparison to the rest of the game. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, the first like 2 acts of this game have you fighting boring-ass robots. I'm not playing that. I paid for this game so I could fight Locust, weird underground people. And you don't get that until about like the 3rd act of the game, and I said earlier about the 3rd act was so bad that I quit and then, reloaded a save from 2 years ago so I could skip that part? Yeah. So, exactly like 20 minutes of this game are like remotely playable. But why? Well, first off, we get to see events we've never actually seen in the games before. Chiefly among them, there is the Battle of Aspho Fields, which was mentioned all the way back in the first game, and got a whole book based off of it. And secondly, there is E-Day, which is something we didn't actually see in gameplay until Gears of War 4. And with E-Day, Gears E-Day on the horizon, it's pretty interesting. So what actually is this mission, this first mission of Gears 4? Well, it starts off with the Battle of Aspho Fields, transitions into E-Day, and then ends with V-Day, taking you through the entire Locust War and pretty much every major event in Gears history. Now, this is actually really, really cool. It might not seem so at first. It might just seem like, it's just like, it's kind of like Star Wars, where they'll just like say, oh yeah, your second great uncle, he fought in the Flumbo Wars or whatever. But no, these events have actually been hyped up, like E-Day and Aspho Fields, and even something like the defense of Anvil Gate. That's something we were at in Gears 3, but we actually see Hoffman's perspective of, Marcus Phoenix saving the day.
He did it.
Which is also another cool thing about this mission, is how it takes you through 3 wholly different perspectives. You play as 3 random-ass Gears, and I mean that. Like, I don't even remember if they have names or not, but they're just completely random. They don't even show up. In fact, 2 of them die.
The Hammer of Dawn just went offline.
So, this whole mission is sort of a tutorial, but also like an introduction in case you didn't play Gears 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever. It's a pretty good tutorial too. It teaches you how to, kill people, get in cover, run, interact with objects, throw grenades. It intros the hammer, which isn't actually used in the game other than this part, I think. It also lets you see characters like Dom and Anya, who are at this point dead, and even Hoffman, who I don't think shows up outside of this singular mission. I really couldn't be bothered to play Gears of War 4 for any amount of time, but this mission was still fun. It doesn't really have any of the telltale, downfalls of Gears of War 4, which is the fighting boring robots, or weird flying enemies, or it doesn't have any, small explosive enemies, which is one of my biggest gripes about Gears of War, is how every game introduces, a new, small enemy that runs at you, and then explodes. And in Gears of War 3, there's, 4 of them you have to fight, because there's the Lambent Wretches, and the Tickers, and the Wild Tickers, and there's Polyps, and it's a whole load of bullshit. But none of that actually shows up in this mission, which is pretty nice. This is the one thing that most Gears fans can say was pretty good about Gears 4, and that was the first mission. It's peak. I don't hate to say it. But compared to the rest of the game, it's impressive how good this mission is. I think the plot to Gears of War 4 is also just really, really stupid. Think about it this way. The emulsion countermeasure at the end of Gears 3 was designed specifically to kill all of the locusts by, like, purging the emulsion in their blood or whatever. You know, shit like that. But what I don't get is how they came back from that. In Gears 5, it was explained that, like, oh, yeah, actually Niles Samson had, like, he made the locusts, like, really, really adaptable. Like, they can just, like, adapt to anything. And I'm thinking, like, okay, that's like saying if someone gets shot in the head and they show up, like, the next day, and the only explanation they give is, oh, yeah, like, selective breeding or something. Gears of War 4. Whatever happened there? Maybe it did struggle to keep it up, but is there anything wrong with that? I'd say so. And they should probably talk to someone about that. Maybe someone more competent. Let's just hope E-Day's good.